know that for a lot of people that means stepping down a bit, doesn't it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But if it's temporary and if it's just a mindset that it's income producing, it isn't like, it doesn't reflect on who I am as a person. It's just what I have to do right now. So it's all about that we are not just one facet. We have careers, we have relationships, we have things that we do for social life, that we do for to keep in balance. We have a whole bunch of things that we do to make us whole people, and all of them have to fit so that we can create a life that works according to our values. Because if we're off on any one of those, we're not 100% in sync with who we want to be. So a life plan includes all of those different areas. So now I have a career. Now maybe my relationships aren't working. So I have to get that relationship right or get another one that might be right. I mean, things have to change constantly so that we're complete. And it doesn't happen overnight, quite frankly, depending on what's going on with some people. I mean, I'm working with a couple of clients now that their career is really moving forward. It's just a question now, what's the next level? They're employed. What's the next level? Where do I go? But there's some things at home, and there's things that are off kilter in other parts of their life, physically, in other ways, that we're working on, so that when that move is made, they're ready for it. Because I do a thing called "What Are You Tolerating?" and a list of tolerations, and it's amazing the little things that people have that annoy them that they ignore until it's built up like a swarm of mosquitoes. You know, one or two things out of kilter are not a big deal, but a swarm of mosquitoes can cause a lot of damage. So we look at all of the things that may not be absolutely perfect in one's life and work on it. So that's about the career. It's about your relationship. It's about your finances. It's about your social life. It's about your recreational life. What do you do for fun? It's about your physical well-being. So it's all of those, spiritual well-being. It's everything that makes up the individual. And also self-care is very important. What I have found that when people are under stress, the first thing that stops is their own self-care. They eat badly, they're not sleeping right, they're not working out, they're not doing things that they would do ordinarily. And those things create stress. So you have this cycle. It's almost like a squirrel cage. They'll drink more, they'll smoke more, they'll do things that don't serve them at all because they're under stress. All of that causes more stress. So
right.
It's just kind of a continuous cycle. So something has to stop, and it's usually the self-care has to get improved, and the behaviors that aren't serving us have to change so the stress gets diminished. So you can see the forest for the trees. You can see the difference between the job that I think I need and the job that I need. So how you doing today?
That's right. I mean, so how you doing? How you doing? I'm doing okay.
It doesn't take a big metric. Okay, so no. Okay, I get it. That's not working. Let's work on that.
That's really good. I mean, I'm an Aggie, and I need it that simple, you know.
One of the things that coaches learn to do, especially the kind of coaching I do, is listening. I hear things that aren't said, quite frankly, and that actually scares me sometimes, because when I went into coaching in '99, I was a talker, a teller, a seller, a speaker, a trainer, and all of a sudden I had to stop talking. I will tell you very quickly, I hired a coach, and the first thing she said to me is, okay, you find a spot that's comfortable at home, and you put up a sign that says, shut up. So that's the clue. You have to listen, and when you listen, you don't have to.
So I want to get into a little bit more about the value of hiring someone like you. I mean, and who works best with Deanna?
The ideal client is somebody who wants less of what they don't have and more of what they do have. Does that make any sense? It's people who are just not happy where they are and ready to make a move for whatever that reason. And they don't have to be miserable. They just have to be ready and willing to do the work. You know, wanting something to change. I mean, you can want to lose weight and not go to the gym because you're not willing to do it, and nothing will happen. So they're really willing to take themselves on and make a significant change in their life, either from a place of they have to because they're now unemployed, or they're ready to look beyond where they are as to the next role, which is really an ideal situation. So, and someone who likes having fun, because I liked, some humor. It doesn't have to be a dreadful situation that we're entering. And someone who's, who's serious and has some background that they're bringing to the table that we can work with, quite frankly. And I
That's
tend to
the idea.
coach from where they are, by the way. It doesn't sound that the way I'm speaking, I'm very directive, but I really do start with where they are and what they want. One of the questions I always ask a client is that, did you know that I stand for you and not your goals? And they'll say, well, what does that mean? And I say, well, what that means is you may tell me that you want to be someplace in 3 months, and that's fine with me, whatever you say. However, if you're not going in that direction by month 2, I will remind you, do we change the goal or do we get back on track? Because the goal is not where I'm at. I'm at you getting what you want. So I take a very different approach. I'm not geared to my saying your life will work better if you do what I tell you. That is not
I've told people that I'm out to do you good, not do you in.
right.
So it's, I
That's
get that.
right.
It's really trying to help them get where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got to be willing to invest. Let's face it, you've got to be willing to invest in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Help me with this, Deanna. Have you ever run into folks that they wanted your service, they even were willing to pay for it, but they really didn't feel worthy of the change you could create?
Yeah. Or they could create.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Right.
It's really them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so either they stop coaching or I fire them. Yeah, because you can't pull someone through coaching. They have to really be willing to do what it takes.
If they're looking at this, how could you encourage somebody to believe in themselves and know that they are worth it?
We do a bunch of work as far as assessments. I mean, they really get very clear. The beginning part is all about them deciding who and what they are and what they want. And so they'll get it or not, but most of the time they do, and they go, aha, this is absolutely right. I mean, I've had 3 clients since '99 that actually became coaches. Now that's such a compliment to me. I had a woman that was an executive EVS that has a coaching practice like I do. What a compliment.
What a compliment.
That is. Yeah. She made a complete change, left, and it was about 3 years later that she left and started her own coaching practice. So, we don't always know where it's going to go. And sometimes just from the questions that I could ask them, they'll begin to, discover things about themselves that they didn't know before. So that's really part of what coaching does. And what I've been trained to do is really help them ferret out from themselves what it is they want, even if they don't know or coming in.
How do you want people to connect to you today?
I have a website that you mentioned a couple of times. It's www.deannafrazier.com. You can email me, and that's at d@deannafrazier.com.
Is that like DEE?
DE, and my phone number is 972-248-9084.
Very good.
I'd
So
love to hear from you.
connect to Deanna. I know that if you do, get ready because you are entering a transition. If you're willing and you want to reach the other side, she